You've been okay, we're on. We're our second half, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Sandero, the State Country Clubs, the Super Duper Bulldozers to kick off the second half. In the second half, and I'm going to sit here mumbling like this. That people are screaming, let me turn off. You can zero in on this wonderful. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. Actually, this is my front, but you know.
So you tell me yes or no.
Oh,
yes. I mean, you know, if you want me to lay out, or you still lay out. You start with this. Oh, it went off already.
I hate when it does that.
Yeah, I want you playing.
I just wanted to zoom in on this little mug.
Are we ready? Are we set?
Yeah, we've been waiting for you. You're crying out loud. You're trying to argue right now. Like you're yelling loud or something. When I'm talking over someone, I don't have to make sense.
Oh boy. Okay, quiet out. Let him go.
Let the popcorn pop. All right, the first one, my friend David Erdrach is going to be joining me. This piece is called "Your Hubris is Unimpressive." Ode to Militia and the Undereducated Gringo. Your hubris is unimpressive. Your righteous indignation does not inspire. Things are said in your self-involvement. It's about you, what affects you. Your silence on things other than you and yours to what others humans are put through because you can. It's ear-splitting and privileged, even though you believe you are the victim. There are many who try to inform you of the bad news, but your ears have been closed to the truth. The enemies you blame are not your enemies, but the same group that exploits you exploits those you blame. You would be wise to drop your racism. Rejoin. Then reintroduce yourself to your humanity. Then join the struggles all the way that become stronger in solidarity. War has never profited you and it never gave you freedom. You always had that right. No government has the right to pretend to be giving you something that is already inherent to life. A friend said some writers preach to the choir, and I agree. But in the end, preachings are only words, and some don't yet have that language to turn to each other, advancing these words, liberating them by lifting them from the page, stage, street, to the heart, mind, and spirit.
Yeah.
This one too. It's called Sex, Sex, Sex.
What was that?
Sex and sex and sex and sex. Then serve 'em lemonade. Sex, sex, sex for the sexless, repressed society who seems incapable of living lives open without ridicule. Sex, 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 enjoyment only during a frenzy. After, serve them guilt so there's no true enjoyment. Give them religion, give them guilt. It doesn't matter what your sexual preference, they have guilt for you. Your church's governments dish it. Some of us like to play the game of guilt. Sex, 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 enjoy, pleasure. It is the flirtation dance, rhythms of the African, frenzied gift of chaos. Take guilt, hold it in contempt, ruin guilt. Sex is the gift. Use it wisely, lovingly, even if it's to reduce stress. Remember, love, respect the one you're with. Why else bother? And maybe we'll do a short one seconds if I can find it. If I can, yes, Benito. Yes, let's do Benito, and yes, you can do this one too.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hey.
yes. Benito, Benito, Benito! Benito, Benito, Benito Mussolini made trains run on time. Rump, 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 can't. USA, your infrastructure's riding just like the Empire, within and haven't fully grasped that yet. Don't have a lot of time. Might have to duck and cover. Benito, Benito, Benito! Came to a bad ending, taking Italy down. What are our hopes for Rump and ilk when they take USA down?
You know, I can't help but get reminded of a bumper sticker I saw. It had a picture of Mussolini and then Trump. And under Mussolini it said, Il Duce. And under Trump it said, Il Douche. I thought it was really funny. All right, we have Zane, then Rob, then Melissa, then Tommy. Zane, come on up here. He is insane. I shouldn't say that. He doesn't like me to say that, but, you know.
Hi, everyone. Sorry.
I wish I was.
You're in everyone?
I am.
You mean you're not?
You're everyone and then everyone that's outside of everyone. Hello. Sorry for not being here.
Hold on.
Maybe you didn't realize I was gone. I would like to read some words to y'all. Would that be okay with you guys?
Yes.
Words.
Pay-per-view.
You don't dance red enough, the floor said to the ceiling. I don't think I'll ever get rid of enough of myself to fully become wind chimes, black butterfly, and or golden. Yellow is pages and white is peroxide burned into face so sweet to control something in this desert of a crawl. Knees aren't raw enough to call myself prayer, sick and stolen from best friend, but I live with middle name made from cancer plus gone equals I'm sorry that she left this early. He rarely speaks anyway. The calm can hold you like eyes opening in hospital thousands of miles away. The first outward breath is a scream and we all act like that isn't foreshadowing. I'm standing in the liquor aisle of the grocery store with my girlfriend on my birthday and we're deciding what kind of vodka to get. How funny, I give my life to clocks with no thanks and the click is enough to make sure that I'm swallowing the right 2 pills and remembering that morning is another excuse to disappear but not fully enough. I don't even know what color sleep is anymore. Dial tone, is noise a place? Advil instead of food, smart, cheaper, Van Gogh ate Peyton. I am not smiling. What does the bottom look like? How many more door frames will I pass through before I stop capitalizing eyes? How can I get rid of myself? Who will keep my bones recycling? Don't know where the trash go, but know what it sounds like going away. Teeth like banjo chords snapping so delicate. I promise you the China is from India. We never needed all this glass. How many ideas ran dry and shaking. Desert sand is a great place to burn your tongue. How desperate turns so fragile and clear. How storms are actually bodies in disguise. Good joke, he says. I know how to speak well sometimes. And others I forget my name on purpose. Night gets dark by definition and objectivity is such a shot. In that said dark, I got to the end on accident. Thrift store sweaters fade and threads tie themselves around fingertips out of spite or falling out of love. How I am afraid of the word darling again. Because of 4 years ago, photographs swimming through a pile of papers, I have a plastic box. Charting limits of human experience from the second story of here to floor, slide into home base, strangers piss. Bricks are a great place to give up months of your life. The ocean is wide and we all know how to count our fingers. Do not forget that the body snaps and tears with enough impact. Fractures don't always heal back right into jolly shape. I'm hammering in wood to wood into the shape of my body, making an effigy for me and me only. Inside of a box, inside of a box, inside of a box with a slit open to outside box. Hear them holding the verse Virgin Mary between those same fingers we talked about counting earlier. Leather comes from dead animals, and other smoke don't feel like other smoke, and my chest is making copies of itself at Kinko's, and each one is turning out a bit more fucked up and or smudged, pixelated, shining in the illusion that I am person. There's not enough whiteout. Every crash I hear on the street, I assume, is another person smashing my car windows. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you. We look forward to that, Dean. All right. Rob. Bring Rob up here with a round of applause. We got Melissa over here in the drum. You have a couple make good. Karen, Chris, Hal, Yasmin, and Michael, and Sarah. Oh, raise it up a bit there, buddy.
I got it.
I just want to make sure that everything is beautiful. Everything is beautiful in its own way.
Hello there. I have been coming here for 2 or 3 months, and these are 2 poems that were born here. The words swirled in my head as I walked home. So, the first one is called At the Open Mic.
Oddly enough.
I see a new poet. Is she looking at me? We talk and seem to connect. Her reading is so raw, so damaged, so naked. But our farewell feels fumbly. Then she walks away, alone, and I see myself walking away, alone. Another poet sits next to me, an unshaven ankle, and the sudden realization that she wears no bra makes my heart almost tear from its chest to pound mightily in her lap, while my bereft body blows away. Of all the stunning poets that night, why do these 2 touch me the most? The answer is not nearly so obvious as it seems. And this one is entitled, Who is not within a million, billion, quintillion, cajillion miles, or if you're British or really anyone civilized, a million, billion, quintillion, cajillion, zillion kilometers, not in any conceivable space-time reality, not in any Star Trek alternate universe, and holy cow, as of cow, this ridiculous title is officially longer than the actual poem, and being so, yes, I now realize that we've traveled so far from the first 3 words of this title that no one is going to get the semi-obscure, mildly lame baseball vaudeville reference, and incidentally, this title, not the poem, but the title, is dedicated to Alan, who doesn't even have the courtesy to be here, on first.
Alan!
I would smile at you, take you for a stroll, invite you to laugh, unburden your soul. Our hands might touch, meaning nothing, yet very much. Would we then give simplicity a millstone necklace? What does it mean? Where will it go? Is this too reckless? What do I get for what I give? Are we checklist compatible? Do I like where you live? Do I approve of your past or how much you drink? What would my friends say? What would my family think? Or couldn't it be just gentle fucking? Nothing more weighted, melding our hearts until we are sated. Gentle fucking. Nothing more laden. I'm no player. You're no maiden. Gentle fucking. A garden to bloom in. Aren't we all alone? Aren't we all human?
Thank you, Rob. All right. Melissa Miller. Give her a round as she comes up here. We got Tommy before Karen, and the Reverend Chris and Hal, Yasmin, and Sandra.
I wanted to do a different poem, but I forgot all my journals, so I'm a little unprepared. Okay, 2 shorter poems or a longer poem? 2 short.
Yeah.
That's not what I was expecting. Cool.
You never ask them
Let me
anything.
find them again. Hold on. One. When I was a girl, my grandmother won the lottery. She took trips to Florida and brought me back gifts. A plastic toy alligator I played with in the bath and a plastic baggie containing a starfish. The insert read, "Sea stars aren't really fish." And I dropped it, kicked it right under my bed where my cat, Zephyr, immediately dove and ate it. 2. From my great-great-grandmother, I inherited the skull of a catfish shaped like a crucifix. When shaken gently, there was a rattle of calcium stones in the hollows where the ears once were. I remember perching it upon a shelf in an empty bedroom next to the fragile emerald carapace of a dead cicada and part of a squirrel jawbone, teeth intact. 3. You recently asked me if I'd want to be a shark, using electroreception to detect nerve impulses, hearing low-frequency hums discharged by dying fish, or a dolphin emitting sound waves from an organ called melon, teeth acting as antennas to receive the echoing back from the sea. And I answered dolphin, and you should know that yes, it is for pleasure, and it is also because you make my teeth pulse, and it is also because I've grown bone-tired of fishing blindly for heartbeats in open seas, no echoing. 4. I dreamt of a past lover again last night. She pushed through a sea of people to get to me. She said, "Mine," and I glimpsed a hunger in her teeth like a shark's as she smiled before she kissed me. I woke, sore cage, rattled and bitten. 5. Nothing. The sea star has a vascular system of salt water rather than blood. Imagine what it must feel like to be completely filled with the very molecules that surround you. This one's really old. I actually, I wrote this poem and then I crumpled it up on a piece of paper and I thought I threw it away somewhere, but I found it recently. And some people, I was doing like a little email exchange with Zane and some other poets, and we do like a back and forth critique sort of thing, and they really liked this one, so I kept it. I never really liked popcorn. It always tasted stale to me. I guess you can add another tally to the lie list, hold it over my head like an upside down umbrella during the downpour. I don't think I'm in love with you anymore. I spoke those words to you after work as we sat at the kitchen table, clutter-covered, soiled with food crumbs, dying hydrangeas, your half-empty beer cans, and slews of coupons collected by our housemate who would later use them to justify making dozens of purchases nobody needs to make. You stared, mouth agape. Even I felt your heart sink, heard it hit bottom like a coin clink on tin. There is a dichotomy of beauty in letting a lover go that dances with ache. I want to be unapologetically bold, lavish, with my love gouged open. How do you gently welcome a reclaimed freedom? How do you not greet her wildly and with an open-mouthed kiss?
And now, Tommy, who is here.
Yeah.
Tommy, the microphone now. Star, stage, and screen.
Something like that. You fought to make it medicine. You fought to legalize. You said that all of us could win a war against their lies. Their reefer madness and their countless jails imprisoned us. The truth came marching on. Dennis Perone, they're going to wipe out your pot convictions posthumously. Erase the records of a city that let its cops and prosecutors go after people like you. Will they pretend it never happened? Like the merchants in The Hate who celebrate the summer of love as if they welcomed it in '68? Today, a threat to society. Tomorrow, someone or something Wall Street can commodify. How will they package you? The gay man who championed medical marijuana and legal recreational pot. Some kind of criminal turned hero. A rebel with a cause. I want to remember you at Harvey Milk Plaza after that rally. I think it was the first time I met you. I was looking in every direction to see if any cops were still around. You lit up the joint and handed it to me. You didn't care. A jail cell was just another photo op. Another opportunity to organize. At your pot club at Church and Market, the air was always heavy with that aromatic smoke. I could smell it all the way up the stairs. The decor reminiscent of a 60s hippie commune. I felt I was no longer on this troubled earth when I hung out there, which was as often as I could. You were an angel of mercy, helping people with AIDS and so many others die more peacefully or manage their pain, restore their appetite. You knew it was a gift of Mother Nature, not the reefer madness of a greedy publisher who wanted to secure his profits from paper mills at a time when hemp was threatening to take over the industry. He spread stories of black jazz musicians and Mexican immigrants seducing white women with weed and producing interracial babies. It's good they wipe out all the convictions, but they can never put back together the lives they've destroyed. They can't hide the jails disproportionately filled with black men. Justice is anything but colorblind. Something Jeff Sessions doesn't get. Or maybe that's exactly why he wants a renewed crackdown in the wake of state after state legalizing marijuana. Rest in power, warrior. You died a hero. Sessions will die a fool.
Thank you. We have a troublemaker. All right. Karen Valander Magoon is coming up, our mini feature of the evening. One of these fancy non-solid prizes we talk about all the time up here.
Yeah, I didn't know I was going to be a teacher. Okay. I am absolutely honored that David is going to be saxophoning me along.
Doing what?
I won't repeat that.
I was just wanted a clarification, you know.
That's safe sack.
Safe sack, that's right.
I was going to do this in January, and he didn't.
It's January.
Yeah.
No, it's February. I'm sorry about that. My watch is slow.
Well, on January 11th, aviator Amelia Earhart began a trip from Honolulu to Oakland, California. Everybody know Oakland? Okay.
Yeah.
Becoming the first woman to fly solo across the Pacific. But she, in January, I think it was in January. Well, anyway, that's fun. Anyway, I'm going to do this. It's kind of a poem on Amelia Earhart. This is sort of biographical, so it's not real exciting poetry, but you'll be reminded of this great aviator. And not only that, you will hear the magnificent tones from David's saxophone.
David
So this will be a dialogue between Amelia Earhart and her story and David. Okay. And do you have that thing where it says flute plays? But anyway, okay.
I have. There's two places.
All right. January 11th, aviator Amelia Earhart begins a trip from Honolulu to Oakland, becoming the first woman to fly solo across the Pacific. Amelia is my name. Think of me as a star or a vessel in the middle of the universe, still wanting to soar beyond and beyond and beyond and farther still. Think of me as a shooting star that bursts inside its own energy, a wishing star that wished too much and still remains exploding in infinite space. My name is Amelia, a seagull, an eagle, flying eternally. Born in Kansas, I see my first airplane in Ohio. I'm 10. The airplane? Boring. Rust and wire and wood and not at all interesting. I get a Peachtree basket at the fair. When my sister and I are little, we live with our grandparents. When I'm 10, we move to Iowa. My father is a drunkard who takes us from happy times to poverty and pity. We leave with our mother for Chicago. In the First World War, I'm a nurse. I see men without arms, men without legs, paralyzed, blind. War is ugly. I must study to become a doctor. But one day in California, I fly in an airplane. That day I become an airplane. I will never again be locked to the I was born in the dawn of the 20th century. It was a century of ventures, mistakes, achievements. I made mistakes. I learned. I made more mistakes. I yearn to soar. I fly 14,000 feet, higher than any woman has flown. Up in the sky like a yellow bird, the canary. Far up a yellow boat to greet the sun. Yellow, 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 yellow is bright and golden, like sunshine and light and hope and friends and dreams. Yellow, yellow. I ride a yellow roadster to Boston. The yellow peril. Shocking, shocking. I helped build an airport to make more airplanes. The Boston Globe says I am one of the best women pilots in the United States. and I'm asked, would you like to be the first woman to fly across the Atlantic? Lady Lindy, they say, like Lindbergh, not cheese, but Charles. Lady Linda, I am to follow and fly with the stars and starlings. I meet George Putnam. George, who believes. We fly from Halifax to South Wales, not Ireland, where we were supposed to land. I'm only a passenger on the journey, but the papers want to make me famous because I'm a girl. George puts my name in the papers. George is my friend. Maybe more. I don't know. George is married. I fly solo from the Atlantic to the Pacific in 1928. I lecture, I write, I fly. I lecture, I write, I fly. I meet with 99 women pilots called the 99s. We cross the states in the Powder Puff Derby. The days are full. I become famous because I am a girl who flies. George's wife leaves him. We were only friends. I did not admit that I was in love, but in February 1931, we are married. And I fly and fly and fly, Newfoundland to Ireland. I land in a pasture. Where am I ask. A man says, in Gallagher's pasture. Have you come far? I say, from America. From America. I am the first woman to fly the Atlantic solo and land in Gallagher's pasture. The French ask, can she bake a cake? I am all women. I do not bake. I fly. Baking is perhaps more important. What I do is nothing more or less than being born and living for an idea, one's own idea. All women fly in me, all have dreams in me. 1934, Hawaii to California, and then to Washington, D.C., another first for flying. But I must circle the whole world for all women. 1937, May, Miami to L.A., then Puerto Rico, Africa, the Red Sea, onward to India, 22,000 miles. I am ill. I am tired. Dysentery. New Guinea, June 29th. 7,000 miles to go. I am tired. So tired. I cannot hear the reports. Too many people are talking. The airwaves are full. I am a celebrity. I cannot hear the reports. There is wind over Nukumanu. KHAQQ calling. We must be on you, but we cannot see you. The gas is running low. George, please know that I am quite aware of the hazards. I want to do because I want to do it. Women must try to do things as men have tried. When they feel their failure, their failure must be but a challenge to others. I have already said, and I wrote this, courage is the price that life exacts for granting peace. The soul that knows it not knows no release from little things, knows not the livid loneliness of fear, nor mountain heights where bitter joy can hear the sound of wings. How can life grant us boon of living, compensate for dull gray ugliness and pregnant hate, unless we dare the soul's dominion? Each time we have a choice, we pay, with courage to behold the restless day and count it fair. That is my poem. I am in the air. President Roosevelt sends out 9 naval ships and 66 aircraft to search for me, but finds no trace. Amelia is my name, think of me as a star, or a vessel in the middle of the universe still wanting to soar beyond and beyond and beyond and farther still. Think of me as a shooting star that bursts inside its own energy, a wishing star that wished too much and still remains exploding in infinite space. My name is Amelia, a seagull, an eagle, flying eternally.
Very good. Very right.
So there you go. Now, are we supposed to continue to finish all this, or was that it?
Yeah, that was. Is Chris here? Reverend Chris? It says R-E-V. Chris.
Reverend. The Reverend. He's not here. The Reverend Chris.
We know who he is?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. All right, then if the Reverend Chris is not here at this time and place, then we have the esteemed, the lovely, charming, well-written, erudite, bon vivant, raconteur, Mr. Hal Robbins, Dr. Hal. Kindly come forward. The doctor's in the house. There is no Hal since we started Hal. Like Dr. Hal.
Ask him.
The dirt on baseball. In 1920, during a fast-paced game, a wild pitch got away and killed a batter. One player and coach, Lena Blackburn by name, finding a slippery ball to be the matter, to nip this dire scenario in the bud, before each game would coat the ball with mud. Upon that sphere, to firm the pitcher's grip, they tried shoe polish and tobacco juice to seek what substance might prevent a slip. But neither kept the ball from being loose. So now the secret mud assists his aim, a big league staple in the Hall of Fame. The company reaps 6 harvests every year from hidden holes in a New Jersey fen. Aged for 6 weeks, the magic mud so dear is packaged in 2 3-pound vats and then sent to each team the same feldspar-rich clay to rub upon the baseballs on game day. The earth, our world, is such a muddy sphere, pitched over the solar system's summer field, arcing around the sun in just a year, a hit or strike still yet to be revealed. Organic mud, the cradle of us all, on evolution's team, declares, play ball.
I could. That was the assignment.
You can do a little short one. You got.
All right, I'll do a short one by Hilaire Belloc then.
Okay.
The story of Jim, who ran away from his nurse and was eaten by a lion. If I can remember. There was a boy whose name was Jim. His friends were very good to him. They gave him tea and cakes and jam and slices of delicious ham and chocolates with pink inside and little tricycles to ride. They read him stories through and through and even took him to the zoo. But there it was, the dreadful fate befell him, which I now relate. You know, or at least you ought to know, for I have often told you so, that children never are allowed to leave their nurses in a crowd. Now this was Jim's especial foible. He ran away when he was able, and on this inauspicious day, he slipped his hand and ran away. He hadn't got a yard when, bang, with open jaws a lion sprang and hungrily began to eat the boy, beginning with his feet. Now, just imagine how it feels when first your toes, and then your heels, and then, by gradual degrees, your shins and ankles, calves and knees are slowly eaten, bit by bit. No wonder Jim detested it. No wonder that he shouted, "Hi!" The honest keeper heard his cry. Though very fat, he almost ran to help the little gentleman. "Ponto!" he ordered as he came, since Ponto was the lion's name. "Ponto!" he shouted with a frown. "Drop it! Let go, sir! Set it down!" The lion made a sudden stop and let the dainty morsel drop, and slunk, reluctant to his cage, snarling in disappointed rage. But when he bent him over Jim, the honest keeper's eyes grew dim. The lion having reached his head, the miserable boy was dead. When nurse informed his parents, they were more concerned than I can say. His mother, as she dried her eyes, said, "Well, this comes as no surprise. He would not do as he was told." His father, who was self-controlled, bade all the children round attend to James's miserable end, and always keep a hold of nurse, for fear of catching something worse.
Well done! Now, I should have kept my hand on that clock. Yasmin?
Okay.
Yasmin, and then we have the Sandra closing us out over there, so come forward and regale us.
I'm going to read a very, very short piece from my novel, which I feel at this point is never going to be done. So every time I come here, I feel so encouraged and feel like it's going to be done, but then, all right, two protagonists. I mean, everybody's so new here, so.
Nude?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do it from the old
your old stuff and it's all new to them.
Okay. Well, the two protagonists. One is Omri, who is from India, and one is Merrick, who is a black man. And this is in the late 60s, early 70s. It is not autobiographical or biographical. So I'll just start and read a very short piece. It was the feast of Purnima. Processions filed past my bedroom window. I peered out at them, my heart beating at the thought of joining them, dancing in their midst, fleeing with them to the nearby beach, sitting on the sand, watching the moon, watching a silver gold disk expanding, igniting the waves of the ocean, pulling them in closer over the populated shores, scattering the people, black crows over silver white sand. Purnima, the feast of high tide, a full moon, a feast of feeling. It's not like Christmas, Merrick. It doesn't have deities. We don't have to worry about buying presents, go crazy shopping. It's a feast, a real feast with nature. Sure, Merrick was dressed in jeans, a blue plaid shirt, unbuttoned. Sure, Omri, my forefathers celebrated the same kind of feast. So I suppose I too should prostrate myself on the sand before the moon. Stop teasing me. I'm much too happy today. Happy, happy. My arms coiled, caressing his neck. Happy that you're here, in Bombay, in India. I want to take you all over the city, to all the places I've loved and talked about. Want you to meet all my people. Take it easy now, honey. I'm really not in the mood to go flying all around. Ain't you ever gonna get your head screwed on tight, Miss Chicken Little? Stop teasing. Okay, I won't argue with you today. I know you want to gallivant, gad about. You hear the bongos outside and your feet start moving to the rhythm. And yes, I'd rather spend the evening at home, read a book. God, what I'd give to spend a day reading at home. Someday, Omri, someday you will want to stay home and read. I've stayed home enough for a lifetime. Damn it, Merrick. I've only just come out of prison you kept me in Cambridge. I don't ever want to see another book, and certainly not your kind of books. You know nothing about any of the books I read. Why don't you read? I don't have to read all those overinflated, pompous barriers who live in London and think about things, about my India. Perhaps they know more about India than you ever will. If they know, then I have nothing to love about India. My home is out there. Let's see it together. Let's see it instead of reading about it in books. I'll just stop right there.
Edmund Mogul, with the book.
I'm so sorry, that's so my fault.
Oh, it's still running. Yeah, it's still running. Yeah, no, it's still running. That's amazing. Look at that. Yeah, see? Oh, cool.
Nothing ever happened.
Nothing ever happened. Oh, this we got to plug in now. Okay, well, I missed it. Look at that. I'm surprised.
All right. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, give yourself a round of applause. We're going to take care of these door prizes. Right now, we got 4 prizes and there are people. And my wonderful co-pilot is going to shuffle these cards. Now, as you know, when you signed in, you put your name next to a number. And now the numbers will help me. Oh, sorry. No. Come on up. I got. She knocked over the camera, and that's all right. Hold on a second. Mamma mia! It's the son of spicy meatball. No one remembers that.
I do.
Really? Okay.
Why would the young ones remember that? And I hope they don't watch Nickelodeon to find out.
I like Nick.
Great commercials. Google them.
Come on.
How much do I get for this?
You get 5 minutes.
Well, I forgot. I didn't find out.
You know what they say?
Dealing with old people here.
God, I love the pt2 boy.
What'd you say?
I said you're dealing with old people here.
What? Can't hear you.
And the other problem is I'm the one who can hear. All right, this is a new one called "It's True."
I'm so glad.
It's true. Tell us a little bit, but not too much. Everyone has only so much they can take. Most don't want to hear most don't want to know too much. It's about coping. Coping. Must be hard for the pampered Houston citizens who feel they've earned everything they got. Having 2 cars while most of the world has none, Houston's balk at being called spoiled. Little seems to be understood in USA that you are going down. The tribally rich will not have it. They will find another country. Repeat. You see, white people, you were used as the tool that keeps the tribally rich by dividing USA's citizens against one another. Well done, played, USA. Now some whites whose eyes, ears, hearts were closed cry like doves ready for slaughter. You fought the other, now you find you will go down together, and you will still fight who you think and consider the other. Maybe Native people get their nations back, hold ceremonies, actions, along with the mother to heal each other from you. All right, we were talking, this is an older piece I haven't read for a while. We were talking about the weather. So, just another beautiful day. It's just another beautiful day. Sun shines, light breeze in the land of St. Francis. Much further down south in the Antarctica, it's another beautiful day. Sun shines, light breeze in the land of ice. In the land of St. Francis, they're out enjoying the day with little worry. Hey, the weather's nice, why not enjoy it? Much further south in the land of the Antarctica, people are out, but worry about the rate of ice melt. In the land of St. Francis, entitled people drive their cars, one person to a car. There is a lovely smell of gasoline in the afternoon. In the land of Antarctica, the penguins want to take their coats off. It's just too damn hot in the land of cold. It smells of warmth. In the land of St. Francis, water stopped falling. Drought is back where it belongs. Water is wasted as if water will materialize from the blue, cloudless skies. In the land of Antarctica, ice that could be drinking water and water for crops runs off into the oceans, helping no one, not even the life in the ocean. Wasted, just like our future. An old love poem, because I don't write these too often. I wonder why. Oh, never mind. Night shines day. I get cloth to shine dark night that brings day. Glide as all things flow through starry-eyed galaxies. Meet my love. She studies, participates what life offers in the world, mind, body, soul. She has no reason to be forgiven. She does not see things as sins, but as learnings. If not learned, repeated, tragic. She's ornamented with black diamonds that take away the radiance when sun rises. Sun rises, the black of night remains with her. Stardust falls during the night onto her hair, winking at me as she circles. Mesmerizes, draws me in. They wonder why I love snakes, representing male, female, transforming cultures. Lose ourselves in eyes looking for that invitation to remain. One who binds you to the spell, transfixes, hypnotizes, enthralls, as outside worlds die. Mesmerize. Thank you.
It's our printer closer super duper bulldozer. The last word of the evening. Thank you so much. All right. Now I can talk about the door prizes. Forgot.